Hello and welcome to another episode of Coach's Corner. I'm Eric Mosley, joined again by Coach Jared Slater. And Coach, we've reached the end of the season.
Yep.
And it's been an up and down year. Let's just start with the Ontario game, the last game. Didn't go your way, but what are your takeaways from that game?
Well, it was two young teams playing against each other. I'll say that. And at the end of the day, they just out-executed us. We knew that it would be a winnable game, and we knew that we were going to get everything that Ontario had. And we wanted to do whatever we could to make sure we sent out the seniors as winners. We unfortunately didn't get a chance to do that. But one of the cool things that I saw on Friday night was how much these seniors have impacted the whole team. You know, after the game, there wasn't a dry eye in the locker room. It's because they knew it was over. But it wasn't just the seniors. It was all the way down to the freshmen. So it was pretty cool to see. You know, obviously we wish we were crying happy tears, but it was pretty cool to see the impact that this group of seniors has had on this entire program. And, you know, I know that we didn't win as many games as we wanted to, but they definitely made a lasting impact on the program and on the coaching staff and just on everybody.
So who stood out for you on offense and defense in this game?
We had a few people stand out. Jemiah played well for us at receiver. Caden Fags really played well. Defensively, Mitch Myers, Justin Bentley had a pretty good night for us. Jacob Arnn as well. Ben Kinney and a few other seniors. I mean, all the seniors who really we count on to contribute, they did on Friday, and unfortunately we just didn't come out with the W.
And Caden Diggs, 90-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. You guys have had a lot of special teams scores and big plays this season. You know, what do you think that's contributed to?
Well, we've made a very, point of emphasis, a huge point of emphasis to really hammer home the special teams. You know, it's something that's typically an afterthought. Our kickoff return team, we spend a lot of time on our kickoff return team and our kickoff team and punt as well. But we practice one return and we try to block it to the best of our abilities. And we know that we have guys back there, Caden Fags, that can really go out there and make big plays for us when we need them to, and he did on Friday.
And senior night, what was the atmosphere like there at home for senior night? It's special every year.
Yeah, no, it is special. You know, the seniors knew like this was it. You know, I can remember it was 15 years ago, but I can remember every moment of my senior night, and I told those guys that before the game that no matter what, you're never going to forget this. Those people that are walking you out onto the track and your name's being announced, those are the people that have supported you your whole entire football career. And although this is one chapter that's closing, the new chapter is opening up, and I'm excited to see these young men grow into great leaders, fathers, husbands, just the great people that they're going to be.
You know, I have often wondered, having coached before and played before, but just your thoughts on, what's it like being that senior on your last game as opposed to being that coach watching these guys that you spent all this time on walking out. What's it like, for you personally?
Well, I can tell you as a coach, and I'll try not to get choked up on camera talking about it, it's heartbreaking for me to see the time and the effort that the kids have put into being the best that they can possibly be for this program, for their teammates, for their brothers. And, it sucks, excuse my language, but it's not fun to know that this is it for them. You always want more for them. You always think about what you could have done better for them. As a player, I know that the kids, you could feel it all week. There's a sense of desperation. They wanted to go out on top. And, the crazy thing is we want the seniors to have that same sense of desperation, not just in week 10, but the first day of two-a-days, the first day of camp, the first day of the off-season program. And I can honestly say that these seniors really just bought in from day one. So that senior night, it's a tough one all the way around.
Yeah, and even though it wasn't the outcome that you wanted, you can really tell everything I've seen and been around at the school and watched the games. This was a very special senior class.
Yeah, it was an awesome senior class. I was looking around the locker room at the end of the game, and I saw that the same, 50 or so kids that we had on the team were the same 50 or so kids that we had in June when we were doing our off-season workouts. And that's a testament to these seniors. They didn't miss anything. They were always there. They always showed up. They always gave everything they had, and you couldn't ask for more. We didn't win as many games as we wanted to, and that's something that, myself and the rest of the coaching staff are going to have to live with. The seniors, unfortunately, will have to live with that, but it doesn't take away from what they did. And this was, like you said, this was a very, very special group.
All right, well, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we will look at some highlights from the Ontario game. You are watching Coach's Corner. Welcome back to Coach's Corner, and we're going to go ahead and go through the highlights of the Ontario game.
All right. Right here we have Brady Wink, sophomore, stepping up for us, getting the ball out quick to Jemiah Capdeville. Jemiah had a good game for us. Unfortunately, he broke his collarbone in his last game, but he just left everything out on the field for us. Right here, getting the ball out quick to Caden Fags. Caden really stepped up for us the last few weeks and provided a spark. He's got a very bright future for us. Here we've got Caden Morris, I think, out on the edge, making a play for us. Caden's been a pretty good defensive back for us. Right here, he's showing he's not afraid to step up in the run game. That was a nice physical tackle. Here we go with the defense. Defense at times played really well, and this was one of those moments right here. Mitch and Skylar Honecker and Jacob Arndt getting in on a tackle. As I said earlier, we practice this quite often. Our right return, Caden set it up the way exactly like we teach, get vertical and then outside to the wall. And he's pretty fast, as you can see. Once he gets out in space, it's going to be hard to track him down. So, like I said, looking forward to what he's going to do for this program over the next 2 years.
What year is he?
He's a sophomore.
Nice.
Right here, defense getting another stop. Like I said, the defense, gosh, when we wanted it, when we executed, we played really well on Friday night. We just got to make sure we're paying attention to detail in every facet of the game. Here we've got Brady finding Jemiah again. Like I said, this unfortunately Jemiah didn't get to finish the game for us, but he truly left it all out on the field. Another senior stepping up for us was a great jump cut outside. Dylan Swint, one of the hardest runners I've been around in my 11 years as a coach. Here we have Kyrie Scott, who battled some injuries this year, but was able to come back to us the last 2 weeks of the season. We put him back on kick return, and just a preview of what he can do. Another sophomore that we are expecting big things from in the future. Here's Brady fighting and Caden Fags again. This is a big play. I believe this was on third down. This is a huge play for us. Tito, man, I'm going to miss him running Navy, which is our jet sweep play. It was a big play for us in the game. Had some momentum going. We were able to punch it in this drive, so it was good to see our seniors really stepping up for us. And then here we go with our freshman quarterback after Brady got banged up. Just puts the ball up and lets Caden go make a play. As you can see, Bradley's pretty pumped up about it. I don't think he was expecting to get in. When we called his name, he actually didn't have his helmet. It was over on the bench, so it was something you see in a movie. He had to run back over and get it.
And then he gets a touchdown.
And he gets a touchdown, yeah.
So we talked about it off air. You had a ton of sophomores starting this last game. A lot of different things happened through the season that a lot of it was out of your control. But that has to feel pretty good that you got that much experience with those young kids to build for the future.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's definitely some bright spots, moving forward. The one thing, though, that I don't want to take away is the impact that this senior class had on these underclassmen. If they want to see a model of consistency and showing up and giving absolutely everything they have, they didn't have to look farther than the 11 or 12 guys that we had out there that walked across the track on senior night. That group was awesome. I'm glad that they were able to kind of lead this program into where I think it can be. And they definitely changed the culture of the program this year. And it's because of these seniors. I think Marion Harding football for the next few years has an opportunity to be really good going forward. So you can't take that away from what they did.
So this senior class maybe in the next 2 years can look back if Harding's successful and kind of say, you know what, we were the ones that kind of helped start that. Absolutely.
And there's no way that anybody on the coaching staff, on the team, there's not one person that would ever be able to deny that. These seniors have been great. It was truly heartbreaking to see them at the end of that game and not being able to send them out with a win. But, they made their mark on this program, and that's something they should be very proud of.
So since taking over the program, I mean, this is year 2. A lot of trying to build a program is just changing the culture.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this year you guys were able to take that next step from that?
I think we took a step forward. I don't know what that next step is, but I think we took a step forward with our program, with our culture. The one thing that you'll see from Marion Harding moving forward is that we as a coaching staff have to raise the expectations, and it's not just for the kids, it's for us too. It's for the community, it's for the parents. We've got to make sure that we have high expectations, and we need to work to meet those expectations, because a lot of times, people get lax and just think, that's just the same old Marion Harding, and I'm sick of that. I'll be honest, I'm tired of that, and I want people to buy into what we're trying to do. And we're going to see a bunch of people in the next few years that are just committed and just all into what we're trying to accomplish. If we can do that, Marion Harding football will be back where it's supposed to be.
A lot of what you guys did this year, I mean, you really spread out the offense well.
Yeah.
The very explosive on offense at times, and then the defense, a lot of pressure. But it seemed like the consistency wasn't always there. What do you think can that be attributed to? Was it just a matter of a lot of youth out there, or maybe just it was just a really physical game this year?
Yeah, well, number one, the coaches we have to find a way to get that information to them so that they do pay attention to details and that those mental lapses don't happen. That's number one. Number two, we had so many first-year starters out there that being under those lights, it was a new experience for them. But you could see progressively the little mental mistakes that we made as far as penalties were concerned all year long. We got better at those things. So we definitely took steps forward in that aspect. But at the same time, us as coaches, we have to do a better job of making sure that they're prepared. I'm not going to blame it on youth or anything like that. We have to shoulder that blame, and it is what it is. We've got to be able to move forward and try to work to make sure that stuff doesn't happen.
All right, well, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll just kind of set up next season and talk about the future for Marion Harding football. You are watching Coach's Corner. Welcome back to Coach's Corner. And, Coach, we can kind of put a bow on this season, but let's just talk a little bit about just a couple things before we end Coach's Corner. What do you think this team learned about itself this season?
I think that they learned that the ability is there, but the little things matter. That's something that we really worked to hammer home with the kids, and unfortunately, still at times those little things we kept falling short on, and that's something that I know that this group will take away. These seniors will take away for the rest of their life, and these underclassmen who are coming back will take it away. And us as a coaching staff will have a huge emphasis on attention to detail this offseason, and we just got to make sure we do that. If we can do that on a consistent basis, people saw what the results would be, and we just got to make sure we do that as a program and just continue to press on and keep pounding the stone.
And for you individually, what were your biggest takeaways from this season, whether it be a memory or a specific moment or just in general from the whole season?
The thing I was the most impressed with, and this is something that I'll take with me, and it's how I'll always remember the senior class, from December 1st when we started our off-season program last year, the same 11 seniors that finished the season were the same 11 that were there literally every single day. Whether they were sick, whether they had rides, whether they were feeling well, they just found a way to get there. And that's something that, I haven't seen in a group in a long time. I was very proud of the fact that the kids made that commitment to the program. So that's definitely one of the biggest takeaways I'll have from the season. And obviously being able to beat Pleasant, that was great. For our seniors not ever being able to do that, they'll remember that for the rest of their lives. Just like, my senior year, we beat Canton McKinley when nobody expected us to. And, that's something I always brag about and talk about. So I'm glad that those seniors have that, that they can talk about for the rest of their life.
Now, some of your players that are coming back, have you kind of encouraged them, hey, guys, go out, watch some local playoff games, get a feel for what that's like, because that's where we want to be?
Yeah, we always encourage the kids to go out and watch playoff games, and we've had a lot of guys that have done that. We had a group of kids that went up to the Canton Massillon game, and that was pretty cool. And to be able to say hey, well, we used to beat those guys, So they said that they walked in with Marion Harding stuff on, and the people from Massillon and Canton recognized that.
And nobody was throwing anything.
Nobody was throwing anything. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So we definitely encourage the kids to go do that, and the hope and the goal is to be playing when it's just cold outside and to be playing in November, and we'll get there. It's going to take a lot of focus, a lot of paying attention to every little thing. Bill Belichick says it all the time, and if he can get kids or guys who are getting paid tens of millions of dollars to focus on the small details, we have to be able to do that as well. So we definitely encourage them to go out and really soak all that stuff in.
So you have to move away from the senior class. You stand up and talk to your new classes, your next group, basically. What is it that you want them to focus on, and what is kind of the theme going into the off season?
It's, our 4 pillars: love, respect, discipline, and heart. We have to embody those in every facet of our lives. The coaches need to embody those in every facet of our lives. And, if we can do that, paying attention to detail on the small things will just come naturally. So that's our number one focus going into the off season. I want to see our kids go out and dominate in their other sports. We've got a lot of multi-sport athletes, and I'm excited to go watch them and see them in a different element. It's always pretty cool to see. And hopefully that will carry over into some of the stuff that we're trying to do in the off season. It's bittersweet. I'm sad to see these guys go, but I'm eager to get started on what we can accomplish moving forward.
And the junior high program, how do you feel that's going, and what you have coming up from that 8th grade class?
I think our junior high program is being ran really, really well. We've got, Chris Brady. He was a varsity coach for us, coach that kind of heading up the middle school program. Sam Nicolosi, who's been around since I was in middle school. Even all the way down to our youth program. Thaddeus Carter is a Hall of Famer here.
Yep.
Is helping run our youth program. He's got things moving in the right direction. They're running our offense and defense starting in 4th grade. We're working on some things with flag football to start implementing some offensively and some offensive structure and defensive structure to that. And it's a program-wide thing. I'm excited about where Harding football is right now, and I'm excited because of all the hard work of a lot of people who just care about this community, care about these kids, care about the H that's on our jersey. They're giving back to us, and I'm excited for that. And the future is definitely very bright.
Well, Coach, thanks for taking the time this season to talk with us and just keep us up to date on everything that's going on with the football team. I know it wasn't quite the season, but I got to think that the future looks pretty bright.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely excited for it.
Good. Well, we thank you, too, for joining us. Join us in a few weeks when we'll start with Harding basketball, and we'll talk to Coach Don Worstel here in just a couple weeks. Thank you again for joining us here on Coach's Corner.